On today's episode, I'm releasing a brand new series of JHS pedals into the world. I need you to sit back, relax, grab your favorite Snuggie, and know that you're going to be the first person in the history of the world to learn about these. I'm excited to show you. Let's do it. Without a doubt, the effective fuzz is one of the most important things that ever happened to the electric guitar and popular music. From its accidental invention in a 1960 Nashville recording studio to the very first pedal ever manufactured in the 1962 Maestro Fuzz Tone, to 1965 London, where the Tone Bender was created and added fuel to the fire of the British invasion, to the fuzz face that faithfully sat at Jimi Hendrix's feet, all through the 70s with the invention of metal and hard rock, through the 80s and even the 90s at the forefront of the new genres shoegaze and grunge. Fuzz was right there creating the sounds that we love. I've made fuzz pedals for over 10 years at JHS and I'm really proud of them, but I wanted to do something different, something that paid a huge tribute backwards into the history and into what these vintage effects really did for our culture and for us as guitarists. The Legends of Fuzz is my way of taking these rare, expensive, and really hard to find circuits that many people will never find or have access to and put them right in their hands. We took it all the way. We made a custom bent metal enclosure. It's a wedge like those classic 60s and 70s pedals that all of us love to look at. It's a beautiful design. We did a full metal badge plate on the top for all the labeling. We did vintage style knobs. And most importantly, in the 13 years of JHS, for the first time ever, the Legends of Fuzz series uses a battery clip if you want it. Let's take a look at the first one. In 1969, MkIII and Electro Harmonix create and release one of the most epic pedals ever made in the Big Muff. The version 1, or triangle version as many call it, changed the scene with fuzz pedals. But in 1984, MkIII went through his second bankruptcy and Electro Harmonix folded, and the mighty Big Muff was dead for almost 10 years. Mike saw the prices of the 1970s Electro Harmonix pedals begin to skyrocket on the vintage market, and in the early 1990s, he found an ex-Soviet military manufacturing company to produce that original fuzz circuit, the Big Muff, but make it in Russia. And the result was the Red Army Overdrive. It's similar to the late 92 Civil War version, and it's a hidden gem. It's kind of a secret find. It's unique and all its own, but it's definitely a Big Muff. The Crimson is our tribute and faithful replication of this classic MkII's Red Army Overdrive. Let's take a listen. A small mom-and-pop music store called MkIII's on Denmark Street in London, 1965, we see the invention of the second fuzz pedal ever. It is the Sola Sound Mark I Tone Bender. It forever changed the British music scene, and that scene swept out across the whole world. By late 1966, we see the Mark II or version 2, and then 1970 on, we see the introduction of the Mark IIIs and Mark IVs. This is my favorite tone bender out of all of them that I own in my collection. It's the onomatopoeia version because that fuzz logo looks a lot like a comic book. Think Batman, Spider-Man. So that's what I call this one, and I absolutely adore it. It has 3 germanium transistors. It's super smooth. It's like a distortion pedal meets a fuzz pedal. It has a great tone control called treble bass. It's just an exciting pedal that always inspires me. So I had to ask, could we design a version of this that used normal parts that were available and affordable, but make it sound like this, make it feel like this, and make it react the same way under your fingers? And the JHS Legends series Bender is exactly that. After a lot of experimenting, after trying designs, trying new stuff, trying to create our own ways of doing it, we came up with this, and I'm really, really proud of it. Let's listen to it. In the late 1960s, Japan was exploding with electric guitar innovations and electric guitar effects inventions. And one of the companies that stood at the forefront of this was a brand called Honey. It was a group of engineers who left a previous manufacturer called Taisco and wanted to branch out on their kind of radical ideas and do something incredibly new in the market. One of those engineers, a genius and brilliant creator, invented a multi-effects head unit shaped about like a guitar head. It was filled with effects like Univibe and a brand new fuzz circuit that he had designed. They split those effects up that he had designed. They took the Univibe and made it a standalone unit, and they took the fuzz and released it as the Honey Crying Baby effect, and it did really well. Around that same time, Honey joined and changed its name to a company called Shinai. They would make you a pedal line out of their creations and circuits and put your name on it, and you could sell it all over the world. They made pedals for everyone. And one of the very first companies to take advantage of this was an American company called Univox. And in 1968, they released the Honey Crying Baby Fuzz effect as the Super Fuzz. They put it in a plain gray enclosure, just like all of the other Shinai versions of this. This pedal did really well, but it exploded after 1970 when Pete Townsend began using the new cosmetic version that they released. It's the same exact circuit, but they look way cooler. And my personal favorite is the black and gray version here. They all sound the same. There's some slight differences, I think, but maybe it's just because the black and gray is so rare. This is what we used for the Legends of Fuzz Supreme. I think we nailed it. It's perfect. And these are so hard to find and so expensive. I'm excited for you guys to get your hands on this. Let's take a listen. In 1966, a salesman named Arbiter decides his company's missing out on the big sales boom of fuzz pedals. So he's sitting around and he sees the base of a circular mic stand and he decides, I'm going to make a fuzz, and I'm not going to make one of those wedges or boxes. I'm going to make it a circle, and I'm going to do something really crazy. I'm going to make it look like a face. He took 2 knobs for eyes, a foot switch nose, and the Arbiter brand for the mouth with a white label. It's brilliant, and the same year this is invented, Hendrix leaves America and arrives in London, right here where this pedal was born, and he picks it up as his pedal of choice throughout his entire career, making the Fuzz Face the most iconic and well-known fuzz pedal ever made, and for good reason. These 2 versions I have here are early 70s, 72, 73, 74 versions, and I love them. I prefer them over my 66, 67, 68s. I really, really like them. And the Legends of Fuzz Smiley is my attempt to capture those first years of incredible silicon fuzz faces that were manufactured there in London. The ones that Hendrix loved. The ones that kind of started off the late 60s into the 70s and really changed music. Let's give it a listen. This Legends of Fuzz series is a passion project that started a little over a year ago when I just decided I want to take some of these classic fuzz circuits that are so full of story and amazing history and put them out in a way that's accessible to everybody. These are really hard to find on the used market, and when you do, the prices are astronomical. So I'm excited that we got these into a series, into a form factor that looks amazing, sounds amazing, and is more affordable than our normal line of pedals. That's super awesome to me. And the best part of this is that it's a series, and these are just the first 4. So I have about 10 of these completely ready, and I'm excited to put them out as the time is right. These first 4 were chosen for a few different reasons, and I'm really excited to see how you guys like these. In the comments, I would love some suggestions for future Legends of Fuzz models. Tell me about some weird, rare, hard to find, or just pedals that are way too expensive that you'd like to see replicated in this line, and I would love to look over that and consider them. While you're doing that, let's go over to record time. Today's record time is brought to you by 2018's Carolina Confessions by the Marcus King Band. I'm pretty new to this. I got this album about 4 months ago. It is mind-blowing. Marcus King is incredible. His voice, his songwriting, and the touch, how he plays the guitar, what he pulls out of the tones of his amp, his distortion pedals. There's definitely fuzz involved here. I can't recommend this enough. I just need you to go listen to it. I need you to focus on how he is such a master of taking distortions and fuzzes and those textures that are harsh, but putting them into a song and making something beautiful out of it. It's really inspiring. Go check it out. In the comments, let me know what you think about this album, and I want to explore his other albums, so if you know a lot about him, kind of give me the walkthrough and what I should check out next. It's just an incredible record. You're gonna love it. Thanks so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it half as much as I have. And if you did, and you want to know more about these, there are some videos that I highly, highly recommend. We're linking them in the description below. But first up, it's Andy over at Reverb. Now, I sent him my original units that we reverse engineered and created these from, and he's doing kind of the shootout thing. He's gonna show you how they compare to the actual units. Then we have Rhett Shull. I love his channel. You need to go check it out. He's a fantastic session player, touring guitarist, and he's just going to show you these from a guitarist perspective, someone who makes a living playing guitar, the concerns of how do these fit in to a normal rig, how are they practical. Go check that out. And then Nick has his own channel. It's launching today, and his first ever video is on these. I'm not going to tell you what he did. It's pretty stinking cool. Just go check it out. And then last but not least, these are $179 map or retail, but we just started our Memorial Day sale right now. We started it early so we could release these on sale. So participating dealers will have an additional 15% off right now, right at the release. I'm pumped for that because it makes them even more affordable and even more attainable for a couple weeks. That puts it around $150 when a dealer participates. So I strongly suggest, if you're interested, now's definitely the time because they're super cheap. So like this episode if you like it, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications of future episodes, and have an awesome day. Bye.